Yunjin is here, and if you properly use her in the right build, she's going to allow you to play Genshin Impact a lot differently with a lot of the different characters and cast available to you. And it all comes down to her elemental burst, the Cliff Breaker's banner. Look at the difference in damage here on a lot of these different characters with this buff. It's going to increase the normal attack damage that anyone in your party does. Doesn't matter if it's physical normal attack, elemental normal attack, geo, cryo, animo, whatever it is, it's going to buff it up as long as it's a normal attack. And how you build this character is going to greatly increase the power of Cliff Breaker's banner and its effects, because the way that it works here, as you can see, it's going to give the normal attack of whatever character is currently actively driving her damage, right? Whether it's a main damage, Eula out there, Noelle, C6 Kazuha, Rosaria, anyone out there, it's going to be dependent on how this works. So the way that this works here is that she is going to give them a raw damage amount based on her defense. As you can see here, talent level 11 is a 61% defense ratio. To break this down, you guys have seen this stuff before. So if you take a look at someone like Eula, look at her normal attack, she has a 177% ratio of her own attack. This is going to work the same exact way. This is going to be your raw damage from Eula. It's your ratio percent times your stat. For Eula, it's attack. For Yunjin, it's defense. And then afterwards, you apply your crit chance, crit damage, damage bonus up. All of those things are going to factor in your total damage. And then you're going to apply certain things like elemental resist down, resist up on different monsters. But this is the thing you need to take away. This is the first time we're ever able to use a character to buff up something other than elemental damage bonus, normal attack, attack percent. This is the first time you're actually able to give additional raw damage to a character, because this is actually quite insane, because you are able to build a character like Eula, like Kamisato Yaka, like Kaya. Whoever it is that you're using, you're going to be utilizing that character's damage percent bonus ups as well as their crit damage and crit ratio. And in utilizing this with the proper build on Yunjin as well as your own DPS character, you're gonna be able to see things like 10,000, 15,000 damage plus, maybe 20,000 damage plus for certain characters out there. When you're talking about doing raw additional damage, Yunjin is unlike anyone else in Genshin. So what's the build? Glad you asked. Now, as you know, her elemental burst is based off of her defense, just like her elemental skill is. So if you go ahead and take a look at what artifact set you're going to be wanting to use, well, Yunjin spends a lot of the time in the back line, so she's perfect for Husk of Opulent Dreams set. It's gonna give you 54% defense. That is amazing here. It also gives you 24% geo damage, which is gonna help you out if you're doing damage with her elemental skill, the Opening Flourish, which is her Beidou style counter attack. And when you're looking at stats for this character in a support version, you wanna focus on defense, which means that your Circlet, your Goblet, and your Sands are all gonna be defense percent main stats. What you want to do in the substats though is get as much crit chance as well as energy recharge as possible. This is going to allow you to crit with your elemental skill, and it's also going to allow you to use a very important weapon for her on top of that. Now the substats for the main flower and feather here, you're looking for defense percent, crit chance, energy recharge, and if you want to get a little bit of damage out of her, you can get some critical damage as well, although that is far and away your main focus. If you can hit around 50% crit rate, you've done your job. Now the main supportive weapon you're going to be using for Yunjin is going to be Favonius Lance. This is going to give you a ton of energy recharge, and this is also the main reason you're focusing on crit chance in the substats for your artifacts, because crit hits will have a percentage chance to generate additional elemental particles, which is going to allow you to fuel your other characters a little bit and also herself for her elemental burst. And there's not a lot of trade-off for Favonius Lance being your weapon of choice when it comes to maximizing your damage from your elemental burst, because there's not a main defense percent weapon for her to equip. So this is going to be a fantastic way for you to get a lot of energy recharge, a lot of particle generation for Cliff Breaker's banner, so you can have that up all the time. Cost 60 with a 15-second cooldown. So that's going to do wonders for you there between your ER substats and your artifacts, as well as the ER from the Favonius Lance. And on top of that, the extra particle generation from Wind. Now there are two other weapons that you can throw on her. One of my favorite ones is going to be the Death Match. This one, if you already have enough energy regen in your party as well, and you want to do a little bit more damage from her elemental skill, specifically the counter, Death Match can give you a ton of crit chance. We're talking 36% crit chance at level 90. And then on top of that, you can get a little bit of extra attack and defense percent, which can help out your counter as well. So deathmatch could be a fantastic weapon for her there. If you don't have access to it, you want to buy the battle pass. You can also use Staff of Homa. Although the crit damage here is really nice, this swath of crit chance on deathmatch with the right artifact build, you're going to be able to hit 90% plus crit chance, and maybe you have like 120% crit damage, and this is going to give you almost full perfect counters, critting all the time. It's going to do wonders for you there. However, if you already have a lot of crit chance, you're good on that, you want to see them nice spicy numbers, Homa here works as well. However, the good old ability on Homa that gives you attack based off of your HP doesn't do a whole lot for this character because her skill and her burst are both based off of defense, not so much attack. Now, when it comes to party members for Yunjin, the sky is the limit out there. You want someone who does a large majority of their damage, 30, 40, 50% or more of their damage from their normal attacks out here. And it doesn't really matter what sort of elemental team composition you have. A lot of people get hung up on her ascension skill, breaking conventions, that boosts up normal attack damage bonus from the flying cloud flag formation by 2.5 up to 11.5% of her defense. This is going to be additive to this number you see here on her elemental burst. So if you had full 4 members, instead of this being a 61% defense bonus mod, it would be a boosted up by 11%. So it'd be a 72.5% mod, which is very nice, but you do not have to meet this convention by breaking the conventions to get all 4 types in there. It's a bonus, but you don't have to do it. The real thing you need to focus on with Yunjin is going to be the character that you're buffing. You want the build for that character. Say it's Noelle, say it's C6 Kazuha. You want them all to have as much crit chance, crit damage as possible, and then as much damage percent bonus as possible. Normal damage bonus up works, and then whatever sort of damage their elemental type is, whether it's physical or say Kazuha with his animal infusion at C6 getting a large amount of animal infusion, or having access to Xiao as well. Actually, Xiao does a ton of single target damage with his normal attack combo during his elemental burst with Yunjin because his damage percent bonus goes through the roof, and it's actually like a 15% damage bonus versus his plunging attacks against one target with a Yunjin in your party. That is how much damage bonus you're going to get from the base damage from Yunjin getting added with the build on your DPS character. And you can utilize this on anyone out there that you love to normal attack with. Rosaria, Zhao, Kazuha, C6, Noelle, anyone out there that you're playing Genshin on and you're normal attacking a ton, she is going to be an absolute game changer for you with this build and boost your damage literally into the stratosphere.